What's up? Coach Ben from WODprep here. If you're someone who chicken wings muscle ups, so you're always sending one elbow over before the next, if that's you, this video is going to be a step-by-step breakdown showing you why you chicken wing, and then I'm going to offer a couple suggestions on how you can fix yours. So let's dig into it. Here we have an athlete, Leanne, who struggles with chicken winging. So we can see here as we watch her kipping ring muscle up, she's able to get that left arm over, and then that right one comes over slowly just after. If we look at her strict ring muscle up, it's the same exact thing. So you can see she gets above the rings with her left and then is able to squirm her way up and then eventually get that right arm over. So let's first break down. I have a close-up video of me showing you what a chicken wing looks like with a kipping muscle up. So let's watch it full speed. And then I'm going to break it down in slow motion. So what happens when we're doing a kipping ring muscle up? So this is where you can notice that I do not have a false grip. So I'm just grabbing the rings as normal. This is what I would call a standard grip. So here's what needs to happen. In order to get above the rings here, you must let your hands slide around the rings. You have to go from below to above. What happens with the chicken wing, as you can see here in slow motion, is I let one hand move while the other one death grips. So keep an eye over here on this hand. I want you to watch how it actually rotates around the rings. See how I release my grip and I'm allowing that one arm to rotate around the rings, all the while I'm death gripping with this hand. And I want you to think I'm actively pulling myself up. The reason that the chicken wing happens a lot of times is because you don't trust the fact that you're high enough. Even though you almost always are high enough. For whatever reason, usually your dominant hand will be the one pulling down for an extra period of time. And then and only then, once you've transitioned, you can see this, you get all kinds of good pain faces here. Once you've transitioned fully over the rings, then you let the next hand slide over. So you can see here, I finally release my grip and allow myself to slide over. So let's watch that one more time. Again, we're focusing on the hand here to the left. I release my grip right here. You can actually see my hands start to relax and release. You can see my fingers are getting a little loose. That allows me to transition. And then all the while, I'm super duper death gripping with one hand. If we look at Leanne's muscle ups here, that's exactly what's happening. Obviously, we can't see her hands, but we can see the result. So this right hand right here is the one that's completely death gripping the rings. She's allowing this left one to get over. And then once she feels comfortable, her body says, okay, now we'll release the grip here. She releases, and then she's able to settle into the dip. So it's very important that we understand why this is happening. So a couple reasons. Number one, just like I mentioned earlier, you feel like you're not getting high enough. So a simple fix to this chicken wing problem is to let yourself get higher. Basically, get yourself more elevation. One way that we fix that is by allowing people to drop into the rep, to use an extra kip from like jumping in from the boxes. We're not going to go into that right now, but the main issue here is I don't think I'm getting high enough. So because of that, I wait a lot of extra time before I let this secondary hand rotate over. Secondarily, the issue at hand is that, and I'm actually going to show you another angle here. One of the issues is because we've developed a bad habit. Maybe every time you hop on the rings, you just throw one hip up there, you know you can get one elbow over, and then and only then do you let the second hand transition over. You can see here, as I slow it down, I'm going to reverse it really quick, I'm throwing my right hip up in the air. That allows me to get lots of elevation. I've rotated this right arm over, and then I finally release and let the left one over, and it's just a very awkward, very taxing experience. So one of the ways to get rid of the chicken wing is to understand what's happening. Let's now look at what a good ring muscle up looks like in slow motion. So here I have a slow motion video of me doing a kipping ring muscle up, and I just want you to notice, watch really closely right here, and right here. I want you to watch closely as I go through this rep. Let me move this up really quick. So as I'm going through this rep, you can see that my hands slide around the rings. You can actually see if I zoomed in right here, let me actually try to zoom in really quick. If I zoom in, you can actually see right here that my grip is actually loose. In order to allow yourself to transition on a kipping ring muscle up, you have to let your hands slide around the rings. So you need to be willing to release both hands at the same time. A common practice that we use on the bar muscle up is we tell people to practice releasing their hands, or we tell them to clap. We'll get them to kip and then clap. And what that does is it teaches you how to actually relax your hands, and that normally is enough to teach you how to transition both hands at the exact same time. Again, let's keep watching this slow motion. I'm coming up for this muscle up. I actually release the grip on both sides. That allows me to slide, slide, slide. And then pretty much once I feel the tactile cue of the ring actually hitting my forearm, that's when I immediately snap in to a very strong ring dip position. So one thing you can think about if you're someone who chicken wings is you need to do your kip, allow your head and shoulders to transition, but while that's happening, you need to literally think, I'm going to let go of the rings. It's very important that you don't totally let go. You can see all the while, let me reverse this really quick. You can see all the while I'm doing this, my thumbs are wrapped the entire time. I'm just loosening my grip, allowing both hands to slide, 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 and then boom, they lock in very aggressively. Let's watch the next rep. So from the top, you'll notice I do the exact opposite. I relax my grip slightly. It's enough for me to hold on to the rings, but I'm relaxing my grip. My hands rotate around the rings. So they're rotating back to that bottom position. I have a really tight grip here, tight grip, tight grip, tight grip. And then for rep number 2, what happens? As I'm pulling up, watch, both hands are releasing. So I have left hand, right hand, releasing the rings and allowing myself to transition. And then as soon as my forearms make contact with the rings, I grip. You can see here, both of them are now fully gripped. So if you want to break down the chicken wing, if you want to get rid of that terrible, terrible habit, you must let both hands rotate at the same time. Trust the fact that you're getting enough elevation and release both hands for the transition at the same time. One quick hack I want to let you know is that, let me try to find Leanne's videos again. So let's say Leanne has this habit, she's done it 100 times, every single time she does a muscle up, she automatically sends her left arm over first and then her right arm follows. I know this is going to sound unconventional, and it is, but what I would have her do the next time she's doing ring muscle ups is to try, if the cues that I've given her here to release the hands, to release the grip at the same time, if these cues aren't working, then what I will have her do is I will have her try to reverse her chicken wing. So that means if she's sending her left arm over first and then her right, I'll say, hey, Leanne, I want you to try, just try, getting your right arm over first and then your left. I want you to reverse your chicken wing. See if you can do it. What happens, and we do this in all of our coaching really, is when someone is so far over to one side of the spectrum, they're on one extreme, when I pull them back to the opposite extreme, they'll often find themselves in the middle. So while she's a really heavy left arm chicken winger, if I tell her to try to chicken wing with her right arm, it will blow your mind. She won't be able to do it maybe at first, but once she finally gets that first rep, chances are both arms are going to transition at the exact same time. I've done this hundreds of times, teaching people to reverse their chicken wing by actually trying to reverse their chicken wing and chicken wing with the opposite arm. So ultimately, if I want to reverse my chicken wing, here's my slow motion example that I shot. You can see here I'm throwing my right arm over and then my left. In this coaching example, I would say, hey, listen, buddy, you need to try reversing the chicken wing. I want you next time to try to get your left arm over before your right. With this particular athlete, yes, I know it's myself. With this particular athlete, chances are they are going to meet in the middle and they're going to flip over both hands at the same time. So analyze your videos, understand which arms you are sending through first. If we look at Leanne's strict muscle up, let me back this up really quick. If we look at her strict muscle up, it's the exact same thing. You can see she throws her left hand over, and then it's just a really, really big battle to try to get that right hand over. One thing I would suggest her to do with this strict muscle up is to get an even deeper false grip. That's going to help get rid of the chicken wing just a little bit. But ultimately, it all comes down to knowing and understanding what's causing the chicken wing. What is happening? One hand is rotating, one hand is stuck. If you can learn to release the hand that's stuck, you would be amazed at how well and how easily you go from chicken winging to not chicken winging. Last point I want to make, and I know this is a very, very popular topic. If you want to get rid of chicken wings, you can no longer accept chicken wings as a viable option. That means in your workouts, in your practice, you must practice good reps, not RX reps, if that makes sense. So I want you to start no repping yourself every single time you chicken wing. Because if you don't, you will fall into the trap of chicken winging for the rest of your life. It is not something you want to do. It's not a habit you want to develop. You'll start to get worse and worse and worse. The more you grease the groove, the more you train yourself to chicken wing in order to get those reps, the harder it will be to break down those barriers in the future, and you will be really putting a glass ceiling on your muscle up potential. So remember, start no repping yourself with you chicken wing. Work on getting more elevation, because oftentimes the reason you're pulling extra with one arm and letting the other transition is because you don't feel like you're getting enough elevation. And then the last point, just try to release both hands at the same time. If all else fails, try to reverse your chicken wing and you might be amazed at what happened. If you like this tip and you want more tips like this, we have a full muscle up development program called Muscle Up Madness. If you're looking to learn ring muscle ups in 8 weeks or less, we 100% guarantee that Muscle Up Madness is your solution. You can buy it and you have a lifetime access to the course, to the programming, and it also comes with that 100% results guarantee. We also have on the bar side, we have Bar Muscle Up Mastery. So both of those are great options that you can just add on to your normal training routine to help fast track your bar muscle up success. If you want to check them out, go to WODprep.com/courses and you can see if they are open for enrollment. Remember, everything that we sell is backed by a 100% money back guarantee. All of our courses you get lifetime access to, which means you can keep coming back to it as you're a coach or as you're an athlete. You can keep coming back and soaking in all the valuable information. So go check it out, and I will see you fix your chicken wings soon.